Hello, this is Yvonne Halling here from bedandbreakfastcoach.com, and today I am delighted to be interviewing Jen Boyles, who is the creator of the Direct Booking Success Online Summit. So welcome, Jen.
Hi, Vaughn. So lovely to be here.
Oh, my pleasure to have you. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jen, and what you do and how you've got to this point to create an online summit?
Sure. Jen Boyles, Direct Booking Success. So I have a podcast and the summit and a group program. And basically, I started out as a host on Airbnb, which I think a lot of people do, and had just roaring success. You know, the first property I put on Airbnb, it was in a ski village in the French Alps. And in the morning, I put it on Airbnb. In the afternoon, I was on the ski slopes and I was getting pings of new bookings. And I thought, oh, wow, this is easy peasy. You know, this is going to be great. This is going to change my life. I'm going to make so much money, you know. And that was all fine and good, because we know that the reality is going to, we know the reality is clicks in at some point.
Yeah.
And that happened when I was listing my third property, which was in a different area. It was in Austria. I didn't speak the language. The entire area was filled with guest houses, B&Bs, hotels, vacation rentals, holiday lets. It was just full. And it led me to go, okay, Airbnb is not the silver bullet that I thought it was. What can I actually do? Because also time had moved on, a few years. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And this is what led me down this whole direct booking path. And what I realized when I was going through that is that I sort of assumed everyone else had gone through this journey,
Mm.
And it came to the point where I realized, no, not everyone has done this journey. People are in different parts of their journey, finding out. Some people are in the heyday of, oh, this is amazing. Airbnb is the answer to my prayers. And others are, have been doing this for years and are being like, look, bookings have dropped off. What am I doing? And this led me to really pivot during the pandemic and say, hey, I can help people do what I've done.
Mm.
And so that's what started me down sort of the direct bookings rabbit hole, shall we say, the whole route. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great story. I think just picking up on what you said there, it does look like the silver bullet in the beginning, doesn't it? It looks like, I mean, it's there's two sides to everything, I think. And yes, Airbnb will bring you bookings. There's no doubt. And the other OTAs will bring you
Mm-hmm.
bookings. There's no doubt about that. But at some point, as you said, reality kicks in and you realize that that is really not a business at all. It's
No.
kind of a thing on the side, which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a hospitality business.
No, and for me, it was a hobby.
Mm.
It was like we've got this empty property when we're not using it. And I think a lot of people that sort of is the same sort of situation. It's like we've got this empty property, let's put it on and see what happens. But by the time we were buying this, it was my ex-husband and I buying this chalet in Austria, it was like we wanted to make a business, but
Mm.
we needed to pay the mortgage was
Yeah.
the most important thing. Still whatever we had day jobs, so whatever came, over that was still brilliant, but we needed to pay the mortgage.
Mm.
And the penny dropped when I got a phone call from a previous guest who had stayed with our previous owners. And because we went in guns a-blazing, we knew everything. Airbnb was amazing,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until the a previous guest rang and said, look, we want to come back. We've been coming back every year, are you taking bookings? They wanted to book direct. And my first thought was, am I allowed to do this?
Mm.
Because I'd been sort of brainwashed in that Airbnb bubble, right? And I went, hang on, I'm a marketer. I'm a designer and a marketer. What am I doing? And it kind of burst the bubble and it made me realize that if I want bookings, if I want this to succeed farther than just paying off the mortgage every month, I needed to make it a real business.
Mm.
And to do that, I needed my own website, marketing.
Yeah. Mm.
I needed those direct bookings.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great distinction, actually. If you want it to be a business, you have to take control of it. You have to have everything that you've mentioned, the website, your marketing, and all of the back end systems that make it go. You can still use Airbnb and all the other OTAs as part of your strategy. If you want it to be a business, you've got to take control of it. If it's a side hustle and you don't care about the bookings and you're not relying on the money, then you're probably better off staying with Airbnb, because there's a lot of work to a direct bookings business, for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
it is a lot of work. Yeah,
it's a lot of work. Yeah, and it's not short term. It's like you've got to take a bit of a long term view, in my opinion.
Definitely. No, definitely.
Great. Okay, that's fantastic. So, Jen, why did you create the Direct Booking Success Summit? What led you to that?
Well, it was the first one, so that we're coming up to our third event. The first one was in 2021, and we were starting to come out of the pandemic. But one silver lining from the pandemic was that the online world exploded, and my eyes were open to all these possibilities. And I started helping people online to help them in their journey for direct bookings. And I was designing websites at the time and whatnot. And so it was great. This sort of online world erupted for me. Mm. And it was during that time that I was looking around and I was thinking, okay, well, these great big conferences, these in-person conferences are great. They're all over the world. They look fantastic. But I can't travel to all of them. No. I maybe can pick one a year. I've got a business, I've got a family, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time and effort to go to them. Mm. And if you can do it, amazing. But I couldn't. And I thought, there's probably people, from what I learned from, not everybody being in the same place as me, direct bookings wise, then there has to be people out there that are in the same place that are going, well, what can I go to? Mm. Perhaps you're really rural. And even getting to a plane is going to take some time. And there's also the sustainability side of things too, where, this whole carbon footprint that you do when you get on that plane, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So I thought, well, can't I start something online? Why can't we have a summit online where it's worldwide? No matter where you are in the world, you can come and watch it. And we can still get a community feeling and some kind of connection online. And so that's sort of what started me putting it together. And the first year, I probably held myself back because I was so nervous about, is this going to work? But it did work. And the feedback I got was so amazing that I thought, okay, I'm doing this again. Mm. And it got bigger and better. And then this year, it's coming up. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's the biggest it's ever been this year, isn't it? With the speakers and presenters that you've got from all different fields and all different places in the world, and all ready to share their knowledge. I think it's amazing that you've put it together.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about it is it's free. And all the speakers like yourself are volunteering your time for free. You're coming and doing a presentation to help others, up level their business, take control, go down that direct booking path. And I couldn't do it without yourself and the others. There are 22 presentations this year, 23 presenters, speakers, and it's gotten really, really big, which it's over 3 days. So it's a big one.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of it. I think that when you have knowledge to share that that helps people, you can't not share it, right? You just can't not, whether you get paid for it or not. You just have to share it. In fact, my story, just as an aside, my story is very similar to yours, but it was like 10 years earlier in the B&B world when I was running my B&B, and I'd stumbled on, I say stumbled because at the beginning of a business, it's all trial and error. All of your marketing is trial and error. And I stumbled on something so wonderful that works so well for me, a system that works so well for me, that when people were asking me, I was in forums mostly on LinkedIn. This is 2013. I was in forums on LinkedIn. They were saying, well, I need help with this and I need help with that. And I was saying, do this, do that, just thinking that everybody knew this, like you, right? Because you kind of think, well, surely it's not just me who knows how to do this stuff, but actually it was. And so, and so I started sharing stuff, and they were saying, oh my God, it worked. What else have you got, right? And I thought, well, I need to put this down somewhere. I need to lay it down so that people can access it, and I don't have to keep repeating myself. So, and it's easier for people, and then they get a better experience, and they get all of the detail.
That's it.
Yeah. So, like I say, when we have knowledge and information that we know can help people, it's just a natural thing to want to share it. And I think what you've created with the summit is just the platform for us to do that. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. I'm thrilled with your support. I think it's also, we're in the hospitality industry.
Yes.
And I think we're true, hospitable people. And that's where the helping comes from. We want to help each other, and we want to open our doors and let people in and say, hey, this is what you could do, to help with this or that. And so
that's exactly, that's exactly how I view my own business at Bed and Breakfast Coach. It's like my hotel, right? When you come through the doors, I'm going to give you a great experience, whether you pay or not. I'm just going to do that because I'm a hospitality person.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're doing, isn't it? With the summit. Brilliant. Okay. So what do you think, in your opinion, Jen, what do you think is the biggest benefit to running what we call a direct bookings business?
The biggest benefit? Well, there are quite a few, but I think the biggest one is what we've just spoken about, is taking control of your business. And, if you want a hobby, that is fine, but it's taking control and not putting all of your eggs in one basket. There is no get rich quick scheme. There is, the only way it could ever be passive is if you had someone do all the work, but then of course you have to give them all your money. So it's not a passive thing. It does take work. Now, where I come from it is that, yes, it takes work to set up, but if you have the right systems, and I'm sure you'll agree, if you have the right systems, the right plan in place, then you just rinse and repeat as you go along, and it doesn't take as much, but it does take time at the beginning. But I think taking control of your business and making it a business, putting your CEO hat on and saying, this is my hotel, if you will, and, this is what I want. Because I think also, if we have like one property or two properties or a small B&B, we're thinking, oh, we're just this little business, and I think the word small business, small, no, I'm a business. If I'm small, big, whatever, I am a business. So I think of yourself as like a hotel. I love that analogy. And stick your CEO hat on, and you can really grab it by the reins and take control and get those direct bookings, because you have more. You're able to more control over your guests, more control of your business, but also better communication with your guests. You're able to create that connection with your guests, let alone, not having to pay that commission bill. That's enough for a lot of people.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And because there's something that what I've noticed in my experience with clients over the years is there's something psychologically freeing about not having to pay those guys, not having to pay Airbnb or Booking.com. It's a psychological shift that really allows people to set themselves free. Because I think, unless you're just running a hobby business, which is fine, unless you're just doing that, if you're trying to run a business and you're heavily reliant on the OTAs, and you haven't got enough direct bookings, or the mix is not quite in your favor, then there's an element in there. There's a feeling of frustration and what do I want to say? There's a feeling of, I don't know, just trappedness, if that's a word. Yeah. There's a feeling of being trapped. And when I know, I'm sure you had the same experience with your clients, but when working with clients and I show them how to do this, and they go down this different path, which gives them more freedom, and it gives them more access to their own creativity. It's like they've jumped out of a box.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know anything about this before. It's like, oh gosh, I'm free.
Yeah. No, and there's a real danger if you're, even if you're just on one OTA platform, if it's Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, whatever, things happen and your listing can be turned off. You can be shut down. And it's happened, there's Airbnb horror stories galore out there. It happens to people. And I have seen large businesses, with multiple properties for managing for other people, only on Airbnb, or they have their direct booking website as sort of an afterthought, and the commission bills they pay are astounding.
Yeah. And
it makes me just shake my head. And I say, you are beholden to somebody else for your business.
It's risky.
It's very risky, very risky. You want to diversify, have your direct booking site, and nobody is going to give you a massive pat on the back if you're 100% book direct. Now you can pat yourself on the back, but that's also risky. Make sure you have a presence on the OTAs that are a backup.
Yeah.
Strategically.
Yeah. So that, as you say, not all your eggs are in one basket.
Exactly.
So that you've got some, you've got some strategies in your pocket that you can pull out whenever you need to.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So what can we expect from the summit then?
Well, it's online, which we've told you. It's free, which we've told you. 22 presentations over 3 days, October 3rd to 5th, 2023. And no matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to watch. Okay. So each day, each of the 3 days, a group of presentations will be made live, and you have 24 hours to watch them. It's not going to take you 24 hours. I've given you plenty of time to watch them all. So you have 7 or 8 presentations that day to watch for 24 hours. And that's where the real learning comes in. That's what's going to make those light bulb aha moments, those kind of things happen. But then we're going to bring in the fun as well. And that is in the private Facebook group. Because the downside of being online is not being able to see each other face to face and having that personal connection.
Yeah.
So I've tried to make it so that we have some sort of connection online, and we're already having fun in the Facebook group. It's amazing where I'm seeing people from all over the world already who have joined, and it's brilliant. But the speakers are going to be going live in the Facebook group. So you're watching a presentation, you're like, oh, I've got a question about that, or oh, I wonder if this would work for me. You can join them in the Facebook group live and ask your question and that. And there's also a couple of live events on Zoom. One is a networking one, which last year, it was so successful. People loved it, and people have stayed in contact with those that they've met in a Zoom room, if you can believe it. So it's just amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And a hot seat session where you can come and I can dive into your questions and help you get sort of unstuck. And the biggest way we're going to have fun is we're playing bingo. Now, how many summits have you been to that you're playing bingo at? So I've created a bingo call sheet and, or your bingo card, I guess I should say. And throughout the summit, you can tick them off. And once you can call bingo in the summit group, and then you go into a draw for some amazing prizes.
Fantastic. That sounds like so much fun. Apart from just learning from 22 presenters, on, skills and knowledge and experience
Yeah.
from a variety of topics, all things book direct, all right, all things direct booking business and hospitality. I mean, that sounds amazing, Jen. Well done.
Yeah. And if, and I didn't want anyone to feel overwhelmed because it is a lot. We have lives, we have children, we have parents, we have businesses that we're running at the same time.
We have guests.
We have guests. Yes, we can't forget the guests. So life doesn't stop because the Direct Booking Success Summit is on. I wish, but it doesn't quite happen that way. But there is also something called the All Access Pass, which attendees can upgrade to. And what it does is it provides ongoing access to all the presentations. So you can refer back if you've missed something or you haven't had a chance to watch. But there's also a whole bunch of bonuses in there from the speakers, really juicy things. I think I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, there's like 9 training courses, 7 guides or something, like it's just mind blowing, the stuff that everyone's been so generous to provide for the All Access Pass.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Thank you. So if you are tempted, if you haven't got your ticket already, then if you're tempted to join, then I encourage you to do so by clicking on the link below, and it will take you straight to the Direct Booking Success Online Summit where you register. You can upgrade for your All Access Pass if you want extra time. If you feel like, you're not going to fit everything into the 3 days, then do upgrade to the All Access Pass. But even if you don't, you're going to get a great experience from 22 speakers and a really good community feel and some fun as well with Jen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Thank you so much, Jen. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Bye for now.